So this is Gen 1 R8 V8. It came in for a few little bits and pieces for repair. And I spent a day and a half trying to fix a problem no one even knew was there. So stick with us and I'll walk you through it. We had to do a few other bits and pieces mechanical, but it kept getting suspension warning light on. And it was suspension control unit internal error. So we ordered a control module in, and you got to code it to the car. So anyway, we use VCDS for 99% of all the things.
All the things?
All the things.
Industry standard.
Yeah. All right. So we can talk to any control module you want. You've seen me use this before. You can go in, you can look at fault codes, you can look at measure value blocks. Yeah. You can do adaptation values.
Yeah.
You can code the control unit. You can do quite a bit. The only sort of stuff you can't really do is anytime you've got to put a chassis number into a module or code immobilizer. It kind of doesn't like it. So then we use something called ODIS, which is Offboard Diagnostic System. This is factory diagnostics, genuine stuff. So I use this, right? So when you open VCDS, you get that screen. Oh, there it is. You can obviously go in individual module, you can go into auto scan. We use auto scan, so it goes through everything, which is what I just showed you. ODIS, you'll plug it in, lad. It says it connects to the car, so it can see the terminal 30 voltage, and it says the ignition on.
Yeah.
It can see the terminal 15 voltage. Wait, check me out. Touchscreen.
Ooh.
And then it pulls the VIN off the car.
Okay.
Right? Once you've then got the VIN, you can start diagnostics and you can go into it.
Ah.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, dude. What that then does is that then populates everything the car's got, so it walks you through what you can, all the test plans, all the control modules, everything. But it pulling the VIN is important when you've got to code a control module.
Okay.
Because that's the VIN it then stamps in the control module.
And that's the unique identification number, isn't it, for that vehicle?
So, had this in, put the new module in it, couldn't get the VIN to pull. I could bump through to test plans, but when I tried to go into a coding test plan, it would fail. Right, okay, so my hurdle is, how do I get the VIN to come up? So I borrowed a gateway off another car, and the gateway is, you stick your head under it, Av.
Hang on, let's have a look.
That's the gateway. Okay, so that's what we call a gateway.
Okay.
Right, so that's basically the interpreter for all the car's communications. That's the T16 socket, so that's the OBD plug. So you all know what that looks like in your car.
Yep.
It's just got the terminal lock missing. Right, so that sits here and we plug into that. And then that's the gateway module. So I tried new gateway module, swapped it off another car to try that to rule that out. No different. Check the live, the earth, and the ground. Sorry, the two lives and the ground on the T16 socket. They're right. I knew they were right. But that doesn't work. So now all of a sudden, on one diagnostic machine, I can talk to the car fine. On another diagnostic machine, I can't. So I have no error codes. If you look at the screen, I have no error codes for communication issues. So as far as the car's, the only thing inconvenience is the alarm horn. So as far as the car's concerned, there's no problem. Yeah. Right? So this is how the communication system works on a car. Right? So that's drivetrain CAN bus, that's convenience CAN, and that's infotainment CAN. And then that's the gateway between them. Right? So there's certain things that signals have got to cross over from network to network to tell you, to tell different systems different things. So for example, if the door's open, the signal sends a gearbox module so it won't go in gear. Stuff like that, right? So as far as the car's concerned, all of these individual CAN bus networks are working, and the bridge which is what the gateway is, between the three CAN bus is working. So I only get a problem when I plug my OBD socket in and I try to talk to gateway on Otis.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, where the heck is that? Right. So straight away, I've narrowed that down.
Yeah.
So I know my lives and my earths, my gateway module are right because it's online and it's working. And I know I get a T30, which is battery voltage, T15, and a ground. And I know they're right because one, I've tested them, and two, they come up on a diagnostic machine.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually missing is the ability to talk to that through those two wires. Anyway, after a slurp of tea, that's when we then get into, right, there's only two wires between those, which are CAN bus wires. So what we did was...
Let's have a look. Let me just bring this light around a little bit more.
If you come in here, Mush, all right?
Right, there we go. Hang on.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's T16.
Yep.
So I've pulled the lock out. So the lock is there to stop the pins backing out. It's a mechanical lock, right? So you just pop the lock out. And then you can identify your wires. And then you just lift the little tab out. Like so. And then pull a wire up, all right? Like so. So we're going to pull out the CAN high and the CAN low wires. Okay. And I'm just going to tuck them back out the way.
Yep.
Now I have got new repair wires because I was going to build a loom. I built two lash up ones, but we're basically going to build a repair loom for the CAN bus wires. And then I need to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. Like so. All right.
There we go.
Now, how did I know it was those two? Which is probably a good idea to show you a current flow diagram. So let me turn the ignition off. Ooh. So I've unplugged the gateway because we're going to have to do the same at the gateway. But let me just... This is the current flow diagram for the T16 connector. All right. So 31 is ground. So we know they're good. So we can cross them off. All right. 15. So T16A is the plug. -1, so pin 1 is that wire. And then 15 is a designation. So 15 is ignition. And we know that's good. All right. Same again. T16A is the OBD socket.
Yep.
Pin 16 is after the dash look. And then 30 is battery voltage. Those are the same in pretty much every car, especially German stuff. You go to a Mercedes wiring diagram or a BMW and you go terminal 30, it's a permanent live. Terminal 15 is always, it's like a ISO standard
It's a
sort
standard,
of thing.
yeah.
So these are the two CAN bus wires. All right. That we're
Just hold
looking
it
at.
that way slightly. Is
that better?
Yeah, lovely.
So we've just unpinned terminal 6 and terminal 14 at the OBD. Now we're going to go to the gateway and unpin terminal 19 and terminal 9. Because I think that's the issue on one of those.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, what I can't answer is why between VCDS it works and why between Otis it doesn't work. Whether there's resistance on the line and one's more sensitive than the other, I'm not sure. But I know this fixes it because I've already done it. We're just going back through it.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to unpin at gateway those two wires and run donor wires in, and then we're going to see if Otis works.
Let's do it.
And this took, now, because I know the answer, it'll take 10 minutes. But going through, ruling all of this out the other day is over a day's work for charging a customer half an hour to swap suspension module.
What a nightmare. But of course, what else can you do?
I couldn't fix the car without fixing this problem.
Yeah.
But it's not my customer's problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe the other side of it is Audi just would have charged them, and
I bet they would.
so
Yeah. So this goes to show again the hidden layers with things like this.
yeah, how you take an under tray off. He's spent the last hour trying to get under tray screws off.
Yeah.
So
Well,
does
they
that
were
mean
rounded
now
off.
that the gearbox oil change is now 2 hours instead of an hour?
Yeah.
How does that work? I don't know. Some people would be bastards about it and charge, but I feel different about it.
Yeah.
So, right, let's walk you through this gateway module then. If you jump down in here, mate. So CAN bus wires work in pairs. You've got CAN high, CAN low. They work on a 5-volt signal. Depending on what bus you're talking to, it depends how they work. So they can either, a CAN high signal will either sit at 2.5 volts and go up to 5 and then come back at 2.5 volts. Or it will sit at 5 and it will pull down to 2.5 volts and go up.
Yep.
The opposing side of that is CAN low will do exactly the opposite. So if CAN high starts at 2.5 and goes up, CAN low starts at 2.5 and goes down. So when you scope them, they're mirror images. And that's why CAN bus is so stable, because there's always a redundancy, CAN high and CAN low. They talk in pairs. So if one of them starts to have damage on a wire or has a CAN transceiver that's sending an incorrect signal, there's always a backup on the other side, and then you'll get a fault code for CAN wire in single wire mode or CAN high implausible signal, something along those lines.
Right.
So that's why CAN bus is super stable, because it has a redundancy.
So a pretty good system then.
Yeah, yeah. Speed on cars, mate. It keeps planes keep planes in the air. Keeps planes in the air. We've got new sort of networking things beyond that now, like MOST, LIN bus, stuff like that. But CAN bus, if you see it, touch it, nowadays it's got CAN bus in it.
Yeah.
So what we've undone here is we've unplugged
Let's have a little look over there.
the gateway module.
Yeah.
This is a 20-pin connector, so this will be designated as a T20.
So is that on every, are they similar modules on different
Yeah, pretty much
cars?
different versions.
Yeah.
Because of course, as the software changes inside them, like that is a 1KO number, and then the later ones now are like 4 DOs.
Right.
So they change. So you can't put a later module on an early car or vice versa because the language inside them is different.
Okay.
But
So I suppose same with ECUs. They're made by certain companies. There are only a few out there, aren't
that's
there?
it. Yeah. So all I've done there is there's a little release for the cover just here.
Right.
So you just pop that backwards.
Forgive us here because I'm leaning right over Rick's midsection here. I know we know each other very well, but
I've had a quiet week, so the attention would be nice. You just see that.
Yep.
There's like a little block there, and you just pull it back, and then you can slide that off.
There we go.
All right. Then you get the numbers on the front of the housing.
Yep.
So 10 is top left, 20 is bottom left, 1 is top right, 11 is bottom right. So you obviously just need to keep your idea of where everything is. So we want 9 and 19, and I know that because I've looked at the wiring diagram.
Yep.
So we want second in from top left, second in from bottom left. All right? And this is a tricky bastard because what you kind of need to do is hook.
Again, you'll have to forgive us here. It's very awkward to get in. Let me just try and
So I hook a wire like this, like a wiring.
Hold it there. Right.
If I do. So I hook a wire in like a knitting needle.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the wire I want. You've got to be careful you don't damage it. And then there's a little tab.
Film us doing this quick. So on your phone, do it landscape.
To film.
Just show what goes on behind the scenes. I'll drop it in.
Yeah. So all I've done there is I've pushed the little release tab back, locking pin back on the terminal.
Yeah.
And I've picked terminal out. So that's one out. Same the other side. So you want to find
Yeah.
the wire you want, which is not that one. That's the third one in, Rick. The wire you want.
I think the viewers would have a little chuckle to themselves if they could see the position that we're in right now.
Whee.
Around.
And then we hook that one up like a so, Dabbler. All right. Okay. So now, those 4 wires, here and here, are isolated from each other.
Yep.
Okay, that's the diagnostic bus. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to stuff
it in.
Stuff it in, lad. Can't see a bloody thing. There's one.
Ooh.
And
is that a fart or is that a squeaky seat?
squeaky seat. I didn't fart in your face.
Mate.
2. All right.
Okay, hang on.
So I've got the 2 repairs wires poking out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the bridge back on. And then mainly I'm putting that back on because it locates the terminal block in properly.
Yeah.
All right. So now I know that top wire here is 10. That bottom wire is, sorry, that's 9. That's 19. I've obviously kept the original wires poking out the side so I can see the colours. So that's plopped back in. And all I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to quickly join these 2 wires together with a twist.
Yeah.
We will do a proper repair. But I just want to prove the point.
Ooh.
So what I've done here,
oh, that was my knee, sorry.
is I've taken terminal 6 off the OBD socket and connected it to terminal 19
Oops, hang on, that was
of the
wrong.
gateway.
Yeah.
And I've taken terminal 14 of the OBD socket,
Yeah.
and I've connected it to terminal 9 of the gateway.
Okay.
That's all I've done. I have not found any broken wire. I've even, look, is my voltings meter.
Yep.
All right. So this is continuity tester. So it beepy beeps. All right. Right. Ready?
Yep.
So I've got 0.5 of an ohm on that wire.
Yep.
And 0.4 of an ohm on that wire.
Yep.
I got nothing crossing between them.
Yep.
Right? I got nothing short to ground on either. And I have checked short to live as well, and I got nothing.
Okay.
So from a test point of view, nothing is wrong with the wires between the gateway and the OBD socket.
Yep.
So I've tested continuity end to end on both. I've tested short together, short to ground, short to earth. I got nothing, right? So from a testing with a multimeter point of view, those 2 wires,
Yep.
these 2 wires are perfect, right?
So they're good to go.
Now we know they're not broken because I could talk to them on VCDS. But look, I've just plugged Otis back in. Mate, there's a check. It's got terminal 30, it's got terminal 15, and there's your VIN.
There's a bit of noise in the background. That's Mitch drilling.
Working for a living.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
So we have connection.
We do, and it's now. I would argue you could sit there and go, oh well, maybe it's because the terminal's opened up in a pin. Yeah, I agree, but I've checked all that, and the pin tension's fine.
Yep.
And I've had that wire in, apart, back together, and again today, and it's consistent when I do both. So I don't know. I can't answer it.
But you fixed it.
But I fixed it. I know what's wrong, but I fixed it.
Have you seen that before?
I've never seen it like that before. Okay. I've seen obviously broken wires,
Yeah,
like a provable broken wire in a loom. But if I give anybody a voltmeter and told them to test the T16 to gateway wiring, they say, yeah, it's fine.
It's okay.
And to be fair, it is, because if I plug VCDS, we'll do this now, right? So this is going to come up with a shitload of faults for comms, because we've had gateway unplugged. So remember, gateway is the bridge between all the modules.
Yeah.
Like Thanos' glove. Yeah?
I like that. Good analogy.
Right? So we'll go out, we'll clear everything down. But it's talking. It's doing what it should. So what I did then was I went into suspension control module, code control unit. It shoves a VIN number into suspension module.
Yep.
And that's it, job done. Because I'd even tried on another car thinking, oh, it's only coding.
Yeah.
I'll code it in on another car. Tried that, says VIN number's wrong. You got, yeah, it's fine. says VIN number's wrong. So I was like, right, shit, I've actually got to get this working properly then to be able to code it to the car. But there's no measure value block for VIN number in a suspension module. So I didn't know that was a thing. Should new test plans be created? No. Right. Do you want to do readiness codes? No. It'll come out. I'll go all the way back to beginning. So that's working. VIN number's there. Job's a good one.
Yep.
All right. Go back out. Done. Okay. Watch now. No response from controller because everything's unplugged. If I do this.
Hang on, let me just film what you've done there.
So all I've done now is I've unplugged the Otis head.
Yep.
And I've plugged in VCDS.
Yep.
VCDS was never the problem. VCDS is working.
Fine.
But it's working on Otis again now.
Yep.
So what you'll do, look, is if you look at that, I've got no ignition, no battery voltage, and I've got no VIN. So if I just quickly swap it now, what should happen is this. So look, and I've just unplugged it and plugged it back in, and it comes up with chassis number again straight away. So auto sources it off the car.
There we go.
So if anyone's got an idea what the absolute that is about, let me know. And that was all that. Rewired the T16, checked all that, swapped the gateway module out, coded a suspension module on another car. All that, then strip the bottom out, rewire that plug, all to get a suspension module in and coded just to fix the suspension light on the dash. And that was like, yeah, day and a bit's work.
And what would that have normally been?
Well, we're 125 an hour plus that.
But would you expect how long would that would take it without
what, to code suspension module in? Half hour?
There you go.
Yeah.
And the half hour turned into?
To a day and a bit. Yeah.
That's insane.
So, yeah. But again, how do you hand that off?
Yeah.
You can't hand it off, can you? Oh, I don't think you can.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy, you know, talking to this guy now going, oh, yeah, I had to do this, because it sounds like you're milking it. It sounds like you're taking a piss.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's why we're as busy as I am, because everyone's kind of figured out that we're honest and we do a good job, and do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I don't know, mate. I don't know, but it's fixed now. Just got we've got special heat shrink crimp connectors we use, repair connectors, so I'll do that and I'll tape it in. So you'll never know. And yeah, if anybody's got any ideas, I am all ears. The only thing I can think of is there's a slight resistance in the wiring. Maybe that is too much. Maybe half an ohm is too much. I don't know.
What's half an ohm between friends?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. I would have thought half.
But it's non-stop.
On that bombshell,